maybe I'm not this type of girl, but you're definitely not this type of guy.
We have three stories. One of them is the story of a cartoonist, and she's making a comic book about a filmmaker. Since she's making a comic book, we see those drawings come alive, so one of the stories is an animation. Emma is the cartoonist who's drawing Edward, and her story is live action. We shot that in Canada, and we're going for a very precise look. And in the other story, in Michelle, the one we shot in Brazil, mostly in Brazil, just the beginning here, we're going for a totally different look.
A film like this, which is structured as three stories, one layered over the other, it's very complex to do and to keep track of the stories because each of them affects the other.
Something that someone does is going to affect the other person, and the other person, which will in turn affect the primary person. At first it was very daunting and scary, but I think once you get the logic and the architecture down, no matter what, it works. Like you can throw it around non-linearly and it still works.
Each of the characters start interfering in each other's lives, like if they're playing with voodoo dolls.
How the hell would I know? Do I know what the hell they were? I know a guy.
The three main characters don't change. They don't get affected by the interferences of the creators of those stories, but everybody else does. So when the stories start changing towards the end of the film, everything around them change, and sometimes they don't know what's going on. Everything's crazy, what the fuck's happening here? But they're still the same person. They still have their soul. And I thought it would be a really amazing experience to try different tones in the same film.
It's almost sci-fi bits of it too, or speculative fiction. And it exists in its own world, and each of the stories exist in their own world.
A high-end experimental film. A highly stylized experimental film. It's funny, but it's not like a comedy. It's kind of ironic, I guess. But there is no genre. I can't put a genre label on it.
The genre of the film changes as the movie goes on, and I think that in the beginning, it's much more, certainly my storyline is much more of an art film. And it's beautiful, long, slow, languid shots that are just sort of drifting around, and it's very artistic. And then as the film progresses and the director of the film that I am in changes, the genre of the movie changes, and it becomes this crazy action movie, but a very bad action movie.
For a young filmmaker, for an emerging filmmaker, first-time filmmaker, you want to make that like you want to do something that's just nobody's seen before, and then, to get attention.
Yeah, actually, in this film, I want to do something that's a little bit more deep, because I'm excited to show the world that I'm not two-dimensional.